Views of 3D objects. 3D objects look different when viewed from different angles. And you might already have a sense of this. A car looks different depending on what angle of the car you're looking at. Front on looks different than if you view it from side on, looks different than if you view it from back on. So I'm going to show you a cool little website that also helps illustrate this. So here's an example. We're going to sketch a square-based pyramid from the front, side, and bottom. And as we do this, we have this little GIF of a square-based pyramid being rotated around that might help us get a view of this thing. So the first thing we need to sort of determine is what side is viewing from the front, from the side, and from the bottom. Well, the bottom's pretty clear. The bottom is looking up from underneath the triangle, so that's the bottom view. And the front view, I'm going to say is viewing from this angle here from the side. That's the front. And then the side angle, we'll say, is this one, sort of from the left-hand side. So let's start with the front, just because that's the order we're given in the question. What does it look like when viewing from the front? Well, you can probably see that all we can see when viewing from the front is going to be this triangular face. And it's a slanted face, but when viewing from straight on, it's just going to appear as a triangle. So that's our sketch of what it looks like from the front view. Now the side is actually going to be the same as the front, because when viewing from this left-hand side here, a square-based pyramid has the same length, so it's going to have the same dimensions of triangle, and that means that the face is going to look basically identical. So it's going to be another triangular side. And then finally from the bottom, we're going to be looking at the square bottom of the triangle. So from the bottom, we're going to be looking at the square base of the square-based pyramid. So what we're going to see is just a square. And what we should try to do is make an effort to make the length of the square the same as the length of the base of the triangle, since those are connected in the 3D object. We're going to do one more example, sketching the view of this 3D shape from angle A. So you see this isn't just an ordinary shape, it's a shape sort of constructed from a bunch of cubes. And angle A here is this angle viewing it from the front or from the right side, whatever we're considering in that perspective, but from angle A here. So what does this 3D shape look like? Well, when viewing from angle A, starting at the bottom, we're going to see this row of 4 blocks, but that's all we're going to see from straight on along that bottom row. So I'm going to use the grid paper that I have available here to sort of sketch 4 blocks along the bottom. There we go, that we're seeing from angle A. Now let's think about what we see from each section along these blocks. So starting with this first set of, on the far left of the shape, what do we see? Well, we don't see anything above this row. There's nothing up above this row. So all we see is that single block face on. But in the second row, let me use a different color here. In the second row here, what we see as our vision goes along the top of that second row of blocks is we see 2 blocks jut up into our view. So from this straight on angle A, we're going to see 2 blocks high jutting up above that initial row. In the third row, we see 1 block above that base that we've established. And you notice that this next block over, there's nothing, even though that these 2 purple blocks that I've outlined are in the background of that black block, we can't tell that from the straight front-on view. So they look like they're sort of flat beside each other. but it's in that 3D angle that we see that they're at different distances away from the front of the object. And then finally, along this last row, let me use a better color of pen. And along this last row, we see another rise of 2 blocks. And so that completes our sketch. Now if we want, what we can do is we can actually trace, because there's in the drawing, there's these black lines separating each block. If we want, we can add those lines if it helps make it clear and if it helps us keep everything in the right proportion and size.